Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger is fast becoming the laughingstock of the United States. Her incompetence is now a national story, and boy, does she look stupid. She wanted to ban firearms here in the Commonwealth and ended up becoming the leading gun seller in America, second only to Texas, and the likes of which we haven't seen since Obama took office. And that's because Virginians are flocking to gun stores and to gun shows in droves to stock up on AR-15s and other so-called assault weapons that will be banned beginning July 1st. Today, we're talking about how Abigail Spanberger, Grabby Abby as I like to call her, has become the NRA's Employee of the Year after FBI data shows gun sales in May doubled from the previous year. Virginians are arming up like never before, and Grabby Abby's political miscalculation has made her a national embarrassment. Stick around to the end of this video because I want to give you an important update on a hearing that's being held this Friday, June 12th, in Lancaster County, Virginia, where gun owners are seeking an injunction against this weapons ban. And if you're new around here, hi, I'm Terry. I'm a fed-up Gen Xer and ticked-off Virginian. If you're interested in how Democrats and the left are trying to destroy the Commonwealth of Virginia and how everyday Virginians like me, like you, are not going to let that happen, this is the right place for you. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss a thing. Things are moving fast around these parts. Welcome to Smart Girl Politics. All right, we're going to hop right in here.
Abigail Spanberger's controversial law that bans certain semi-automatic firearms takes effect on July 1st, and this is leading to a surge of gun sales in the Commonwealth.
All right, Chanley Painter joins us with all those details. Chanley, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So this legislation in Virginia was signed into law last month. It bans the future sale, manufacture, import, and transfer of semi-automatic rifles or pistols that have a magazine capacity of more than 15 rounds. So essentially, starting July 1st, under the law, it will be a misdemeanor to buy, sell, transfer, or make an assault firearm. But get this, since the Democrat-led effort was introduced earlier this year, the number of background checks done for the purchase of a firearm went up drastically, according to the FBI. For example, in just the month of May alone, more than 75,000 background checks were conducted. That's more than double the amount from last year, where only some 37,000 were conducted in May of 2025.
And let's take a closer look at those numbers because they bear repeating. Since January, and remember, Abigail Spanberger took office January 17th, the number of background checks done for the purchase of a firearm has gone up exponentially, with 75,376 background checks in May alone. This is just Virginia, more than double the amount in May 2025, during which only 37,167 were done, according to FBI statistics. Just for context, a year ago, May, Glenn Youngkin was still the governor, and he was not going to sign any sort of gun ban. So this is what's happened since Abigail Spanberger took office. The high so far this year was in March, when 79,846 background checks were done, compared to only 47,069 last year. And in April, 72,011 were done, compared to 40,343 in 2025. A total of 347,167 background checks were run through the end of May this year, which is on track to trounce the 500, there are a lot of numbers here, 521,000, I haven't been in school in a while, 521,283 done in all of last year.
So what Democrats who control every lever of power in Virginia are doing right now, in addition to raising people's taxes, they're also going after people's guns and taking them away. And they're taking away the most popular guns used by people, by women who want to defend themselves and defend their families from criminals. And and of course, the predictable result of it is that over the past 3 months since this law was passed, the gun sales have absolutely exploded. It used to be that you'd go into a gun shop in Virginia and there would be a picture of Barack Obama with under Employee of the Month because he did so much to raise gun sales. I have not been into a gun store in the last couple of weeks, but I guarantee you every gun store in Virginia has Employee of the Month, Employee of the Year, Abigail Spanberger.
And deservedly so. She is doing more to sell guns than anyone else in the United States right now. Now, something we don't talk enough about is how Ms. Affordability, Abigail Spanberger, ran on affordability, remember, is more than happy to decimate the livelihoods of Virginia gun sellers. They're experiencing a surge right now, so they're really making out this first part of the year, which is great. I think we all love to see them doing well, and we all give them our business. But there are long-term economic consequences to this unconstitutional gun ban and gun grab by the Democrats. Back over to Fox News. I wanted to share some comments from gun owners and what they're seeing right now and what they're foreseeing is going to happen after July 1st. For the last, I'd say 3 months, we've been running hard. James Sprouse, a manager at Ginger Mafia Tactical, told WDBJ TV recently, the second we get them in, they're out the door. Trey Boyd, co-owner of Tactical Operations Vault, you guys do a great job naming these companies, said he's selling out of components for making AR-15 style rifles. Like this cabinet, this is where I generally keep my stripped lowers, he told WDBJ. Usually every rack is completely full, front to back, and about every week it's completely wiped out. He added firearms that have a magazine capacity of more than 15 rounds, we won't be able to have anymore, which is a majority of your weapons nowadays, so it's going to affect us big time. It's going to affect people who sell guns tremendously, and this is something that Abigail Spanberger and Virginia Democrats simply do not care about. But here's the interesting thing. There are Democrat gun owners still in Virginia. It's not quite this black and white sort of situation. There are Democrats who actually still believe in the Second Amendment. There's at least a few left here. I mean, I don't personally know them, but apparently they're here. They're probably in the more sane parts of the state, and they're probably at this point, I would think, questioning whether they are still Democrats or not.
So, Charlie, explain that why, Abigail Spanberger knows that there are lots of Democrat voting Second Amendment rights, hunters, gun owners in Virginia. Why is she doing this now?
I think the problem, it's a problem of when the dog catches the car. Democrats managed to control the entire, both chambers of the legislature and the governor's mansion. And then what happens? You wind up with the kookiest, craziest people in your caucus with all of their ideas that they've always wanted. This is their wish list, and they start pushing it through. The problem with Abigail Spanberger is that she's not a leader, and she's not willing to, even if she doesn't agree with some of these things, she's not going to stand up to them.
And this is why we talk so much about Virginia. I mean, it is a Virginia channel, but this is why I'm hoping it goes outside of the borders of Virginia and is national, because this is what Democrats do when they get unchecked power. As they just said there, they control both chambers of the General Assembly. And of course, they have the governor's mansion. And even worse, they have Lieutenant Governor. She's a real treat. And Jay Jones as our Attorney General, who is all over social media right now talking about how he is going to protect everybody from these terrible guns that he wishes to use on his very own political opponents. So it is bizarro world here. And there's a really good reason that Abigail Spanberger is not popular in Virginia. She has managed in less than 5 months to tick off most law-abiding citizens across the Commonwealth, whether it's the gun grab, her refusal to work with ICE to keep dangerous illegal aliens off our streets, or her putting herself out there as the face of radically partisan gerrymandering. She's deeply unpopular. There's no reason to like her, really. I don't think that anybody can find much of a reason to like her at this point. Now, before I get to that update on a possible injunction against the assault weapons ban, I wanted to touch just on some of the legality of what Spanberger and her fellow Democrats are trying to do here by banning the sale and purchase of firearms like the very popular AR-15. And for that, I am going over to Jonathan Turley's website. He is a law professor who is an authority on a lot of things. One of the things he particularly enjoys writing about is the gun grab efforts by the left and how unconstitutional it actually is. So this is Jonathan Turley writing about how Abigail Spanberger has become the best gun saleswoman, salesperson, sales gal in the entire universe. The AR-15 is the most popular gun, Jonathan Turley writes, in America, and the number of these guns in private hands is continuing to rise rapidly, with one AR-15 purchased in every 5 new firearm sales. These AR-15s clearly are not being purchased for armored deer. Many are purchased for personal and home protection. Like they said, a lot of women, single women out there, want to protect their homes. Single moms, they have to protect their homes, but the Democrats don't want them to. It is also popular for target shooting and hunting. Many gun owners like the AR-15 because it is modular. Depending on the model, you can swap out barrels, bolts, and high-capacity magazines, or add a variety of accessories. While it does more damage than a typical handgun, it is not the most powerful gun by caliber. Many guns have equal or greater calibers. That is why laws banning or curtailing the sale of AR-15s would likely run into constitutional barriers. The challenges to the Virginia law were greatly assisted by Spanberger herself, who admitted that the law could ban commonly used hunting guns. If the law is not amended, or let's just throw the whole thing out, she could prove the main witness in her own signed legislation. The woman is a disaster. She's just the biggest loser of a governor. You've got to wonder what the Democrats are at with this. Abigail Spanberger and Graham Plattner, they're the best and the brightest of the Democrat Party. Well, then we're screwed. We have a Second Amendment protection of gun ownership, writes Jonathan Turley, with over 490 million guns in private hands as of 2022. About that injunction, our friends over at the VCDL and the Gun Owners of America, they are doing the Lord's work when it comes to defending the Second Amendment and helping us Virginians retain our constitutional rights. Last week, they teased there would be imminent action on this July 1st gun ban. In their June 4th newsletter, they wrote the VCDL/Gun Owners of America assault weapons ban and assault weapons carry prohibition lawsuit is awaiting a hearing for a temporary injunction to keep those laws from going into effect on July 1st. We don't know yet when that hearing is going to be held. Regardless of the result of the temporary injunction hearing, we will be headed to a state circuit court at a currently unknown date to get those unconstitutional laws struck down. So there's already lawsuits in motion in order to stop the Democrats from taking your guns. And here is a wonderful update that came to us again via Philip Van Cleve of the Virginia Citizens Defense League. He wrote on X, this was on Monday, the VCDL Gun Owners of America temporary injunction against the assault weapons ban and the assault weapons carry prohibition will be heard in the Lancaster County, and I don't know if I'm saying it right, will be heard in the Lancaster County Circuit Court this Friday. Fingers crossed. I wanted to go down. He was doing a little back and forth. It should be open to the public, he says. Odds of them stopping enforcement if the court orders them not to enforce 100%. But we have no idea what the court is going to say. There's different lawsuits going. There's one in Fauquier County. Would it be statewide or just in this county? It should be statewide, Philip Van Cleve says. However, there's an off-the-wall chance that it could only apply to VCDL and Gun Owners of America's members. I want to know what you all think about this. Please drop me a comment down below so we can keep the conversation going, because what's happening here in Virginia, it is a lesson for the rest of you. So in Virginia, drop me a note. If you're not in Virginia, drop me a note. And if you need to catch up on the court injunction, because the injunctions are flying because the Democrats cannot try and strip your rights away from you enough. So if you want to know about the court injunction that has stopped universal background checks here in Virginia, you need to check out this video. And that is all I've got for you today, friends. As always, be safe out there. And until I see you next time, take care. Bye.